Hey, I'm not talking about that type of discovery. I'm talking about scientific discoveries, the discoveries in engineering, science, math, medicine, business. Those are the discoveries that we're going to be looking at today. We're going to be looking at the skills and knowledge that are required in the discovery process. As our understanding expands, so does the possibility of new discoveries. We're going to look at some historical discoveries and see how serendipity and careful attention and observation led to these groundbreaking discoveries. It's not always planned, it's not always controlled, but if the environment is correct, then innovation can flourish. In 1928, a microbiologist, Alexander Fleming, had just finished some routine testing and left some of his microbiological plates on the table before he went on vacation for a few days. Upon returning, he noticed that there was no bacterial growth in some areas of the plates. This was strange. This was something that caught his attention. Upon further investigation, he was able to isolate the substance, and that was the discovery of penicillin that went on to save millions and millions of people's lives. For example, the invention of the telephone by Alexander Graham Bell led to development after development to increase the sophistication and complexity, right up to a smartphone, a phone that not only talks but also has many other computer-like type functions. And these evolutions continue and continue through discovery after discovery. How did Thomas Edison master the art of discovery with over 1,600 patents? How did Henry Ford discover the new ways to create the modern automobile that is the forerunner of all the cars that we see today? Discovery can take place sometimes while you're looking for one thing, you end up seeing something new and different. And if you have the right conditions and the right individual, then that discovery can continue. The discovery of X-rays that could be used for imaging people's hands and bodies was also an example of looking at something else, but then seeing something differently. So what do we mean by discovery? Well, as you can see there, it has many descriptors, but we're going to look at the key skills and knowledge required. First things first, whether it be science, business, engineering, medicine, you have to have specific knowledge on a topic where you have the possibility to innovate. You need to be able to discover and look at and recognize what is not known. The knowledge that you have are like pieces of a puzzle. They're waiting to be organized into some particular understanding, and at the outset of that understanding is the possibility to discover something new. Those people who see their knowledge bounded by edges and cannot see beyond these people cannot discover. Discoverers are people who see their world without borders or edges. They can recognize and discover an unknown piece and know how it will fit in to the scheme of new things in the discovery process. They look at the world and they can see that it is a complex arrangement of knowledge and understanding, and they can know and look at a particular part to see what is known and what is not known. This is an important part of the discovery process. Discoverers need to understand the relationships between the information. From all of the information that they know, that they've accumulated, they have to know how to find out how each point is related to another point so that they can understand. This means you have to be able to recognize a new piece in the puzzle and have some idea where it may fit. It means you have to take some new knowledge, a piece of the puzzle, and have an idea where it might fit into the great scheme of things. And this requires that you think about it. Thinking is important. In the real world, your eyes may be looking, but that does not mean your brain is seeing. Seeing is the process that takes place about thinking about what you have seen. And without that process, you are not going to be able to discover or recognize anything new. You must think. You must ponder the unknown, and you must spend time on it. Otherwise, you will not recognize the unknown when it comes upon you. You have to navigate through the known in order for you to discover the unknown. And that requires that you learn how to think critically, because critical thinking is at the center of the discovery process. Thinking takes practice. In order to be good at it, you have to practice it. And if you can become an advanced or even a master thinker, then you have a better chance in the discovery process. So now we get to the essence of the problem. One has to be able to understand how the current knowledge base fits together in order to recognize the requirements to extend the puzzle. And that requires critical thinking. That means you have to think about the requirements for where this new knowledge or discovery will fit. Only then will you have the opportunity to bring your new discovery to reality. And now, an example of the discovery process for one of my patents. Surgeons wear protective gloves to protect themselves and their patients from infections. And these gloves are elastic in nature and can be stretched. And in the stretching process or in contact with a sharp object, they may rip. And that occurs when these long chains of polymers are stretched to the point that they begin to break. And when that occurs, you end up with a rip that is not satisfactory and obviously is very, very dangerous. So the goal was to discover a mechanism by which we could increase the tear resistance of the surgical glove. We substantially increased the tear resistance of the latex rubber by suspending polystyrene particles throughout the matrix. These small spheres, micronized, would interfere with the tearing process within the polymer. And this led to us obtaining the patent. To recap, first you have to have a substantial amount of knowledge to discover something that hasn't been discovered. You must take that new piece of knowledge or that you see, and you must be able to interpret it and know where it fits. You must be able to look at the boundaries of information and find a spot that particular discovery will extend what we know.
LPS is go.
Houston flight.
Houston flight is go.
SRO.
SRO is go. You have a range clear to launch.
And CDR.
CDR is go.